Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Taurus. If Taurus is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so this is a bonus reading for Taurus, and our card is from the Tarot of the Abyss, and it is the 5 of Cups. I know. Kind of a card related to disappointment or a little bit of heartbreak. Maybe feeling a little bit defeated. But we'll see. We'll see what's going on. Don't worry. We can always find the silver lining, right? That's what we're good at here. Okay, so first of all, we have a 17 right here. Oh yeah, and we have the Scorpion. Of course, I knew for some reason when I had the tea steeping, I saw what looked kind of like a scorpion with the tea leaves in the water. I was like, maybe we have a Scorpio here involved, or maybe this is somebody who is like a scorpion. So we do have the Scorpion right here. So yeah, there we go. That's definitely a confirmation for me. So we'll come back around to that. I just want to take a look here. Okay, and so if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell. It'll let you know when the next video is coming out. It is free to subscribe. Okay. Okay, so I'm looking at this. We have the Scorpion. We have somebody who, I feel like this is more, maybe it's a Scorpio person, but I feel like it's more like they're a person who really has that, poisonous sting. And I feel like there's always been with you and this person, and I don't know how long this has been going on, but I do feel like there's always been this kind of like back and forth of really wanting to be very close friends maybe, or maybe lovers, or be in a relationship or whatever it is. But there is an attraction there, and not necessarily just physical, or maybe not physical at all, but there is an attraction, just a real wanting for things to kind of, work, to really kind of take your friendship to a deeper level, maybe take your love affair to a deeper level, or more committed, or whatever. But I think this person, they are the disappointer. That's like they could go to the Olympics if disappointing people was was a sport, right? I think that this is just like, it's not even bad timing. It's just they don't have it together. I don't even know that they're very self-aware that their behavior, or maybe they just don't care. I don't know. But their behavior affects other people, right? But there are obviously parts of them that are wonderful, that really draw you in, that are lovable, and something that you'll look past some of the things that affect you negatively, because you care for them, and there is still that hope, right? But I really think that it's just getting to the point where it's like, you know, there's not the time, nor the energy, nor the want. It's, you know, it's really starting to become frayed, right? Like at the edges. And I don't know what they did exactly this time, but I think that it's kind of like, you know, I'm looking over here, and I feel like it's like we have a dog, okay, and it kind of almost reminds me more of like a coyote. But then we have people standing down here, okay, and I feel like it's like this person, they'll do whatever they have to for attention. It's the idea of being desired, the idea of, you know, being maybe popular, or being, you know, in style to be like this person's friend. In their head, it's like, yeah, this is what I care about. You know, this is what determines some kind of value in life. And hey, you know what? Maybe that's true. I don't know. But it really matters how you get there, you know. And it seems like, you know, they will disrespect. They will, you know, really exploit people. Whatever, you know, whatever their ends are, really. And I think it's actually fairly trivial. I don't even think that this has a lot to do with money or anything. Like, you know, they're not making money off of this, like, and I keep thinking like something, you know, like making content or whatever. But you know, I look at the dog, the coyote, which, by the way, super, in many cultures, a holy symbol entity. And in the same in mind, the dogs, the canines, especially the coyotes, very much, the coyote is really a symbol of something that is the trickster, of course, but that walks between worlds, okay? When the coyotes interact with us, you know, there is a sense of needing to protect ourselves, but it is also kind of an invitation, and I don't mean like in real life, like don't follow the coyotes out, out into the night, but you know, this is an invitation. If coyotes come into your dreams, if you are encountering them in symbols, you know, objects like little statues or pictures of them, constantly in your life, you know, there is that kind of devious but revealing spirit, kind of bringing you into this other place. Okay, and this other place really is, in my mind, the theater to work out some of our, you know, internal dilemmas, begin to initiate into the mysteries, you know, maybe witness things. When I was younger, I had a series of dreams where I would find myself in the desert. Often it was at night in dreams, right? And I would go out there, and there would be a coyote or coyotes, but there would also be kind of real, almost, I guess, kind of alien, but more elemental, as a particular being, that would show me things, would show me, pictures and kind of diagrams, and talk to me about, sacred formulas and how things worked and why they worked and so on, and talk to me a lot about things like enchantment and I don't know. So I won't bore you with the details, but so I think that, when this kind of invitation happens, and I do believe this, I feel like, you can accept it or not, of course. But I think that you have to watch out for it. So when you see it, it's like, okay, here's this kind of little Easter egg in my life. Am I going to go on this like side mission kind of thing? And I think it takes you away from all this other stuff, right? This person who is messy, right? And I think they hurt your feelings. And I think that's ultimately the biggest thing. They hurt your feelings a lot. And I think it's, when you sit in that for too long, it becomes quite detrimental, And so when we find these opportunities to be broken of that kind of spell, because it has to be something like that. When we find ourselves with somebody, especially like you're not even deeply romantically involved with them. That's a different kind of enchantment. But somebody who's like a friend and they're treating you poorly, they're talking badly about you, or, exploiting your talents, your services, whatever. And it's always, they don't even ask you, oh, how are you doing? It's about them, always. Them and their problems. And I really feel like this is that energy. And so when we have these moments where it's like, okay, we've been broken of the spell, whatever is keeping us locked in with this person, even though we know better. You got to follow that shiny thing. Go with the coyote. Go into those interior places. Focus on your work. Ultimately, having people like that in our lives, it is a reminder of where we need to work on ourselves, where we need to fortify ourselves. We will encounter them, but when we choose to stay close to them, that's when it's like, okay, what is going on with me that I allow somebody to treat me this way? And I know this is what they're doing. And yet, I continue to live in it, to worry about it. A person like that, you're constantly worrying about what you said to them, what they're saying about you, what they're doing. Why aren't they, texting me back? Why aren't they, they're not respecting my time, my efforts, so on. And that really can hurt the soul. So we have to look at, like, why would we hang out with somebody like that? So we go into those interior places and we follow that coyote into the desert. And we begin to find self-worth. Or at least find, like, what is the strand? Where's the beginning of, like, feeling like that kind of behavior is normal? Because we do, and I myself have a lot of experience with this. I think, especially, and I don't know about, people who live as men, how they experience, what their social intricacies are. I don't know. I've only lived as a woman. So, but I do know, within socializing, especially when you're younger, there's a lot of this kind of stuff because we're figuring out how to be with each other, around each other, and be good to each other. And that's not emphasized, it is not. It's stereotypically treating one another. We are put at odds, right? It's always a competition or a struggle or a jealousy or whatever. And it doesn't have to be. It does not have to be. So you have to, you grow and you learn and and this is a moment when we have these kinds of people around. It's a moment to really look at why is this like this? Why is this in my life? Am I willing to endure it? And if so, why? What exactly is it? Man, now maybe this is a family member, and then there's a whole other aspect to it. But I think, I imagine anyways, collectively, we're coming to a place where it's not that we have to reject every person who is, trying to evolve as a being, and they still have faults. But I feel like we just, as a collective, don't put up with as many behaviors as maybe we used to. And it's small. These are small little movements, but it's important, I think. It's so consuming to have a life of people who do not treat us with respect, and don't treat themselves with respect either. Okay, now let's take a look here. We have this, and see, this to me, this is kind of the end. This is like where we go through this like process of, part of the maze, the labyrinth, right? And then we get to this beautiful picture. It is of a person. You can see here standing. They're next to a flower that is in bloom, but they're holding an apple. And the apple is important because the apple is a sign of holistic, of health coming into a place of stability or ease. Now, I never like to say like, okay, if you are sick, this is a cure. There's a cure coming. Nothing like that. No. But if there is something happening, if you have some kind of chronic illness or chronic pain, or you have not been well for one reason or another, you've had an injury, or maybe you are somebody who is in, relatively good health, but this is a time where things will be at ease, right? Where the flare-ups are minimal, where the pain has, kind of been a little less, where things feel a little bit more manageable, where we are looking at something and we might realize like, hey, this might be another thing to look at. Like why, and I'll share with you mine. I've recently quit coffee. Well, yeah. And I'm trying to minimize caffeine in my life. And part of that is because, it just, I get so burnt out from it. And it's not good for my anxiety. I have anxiety a lot. And I just don't like relying on it. I do love coffee. I'm not bad mouthing coffee. So coffee people, I know, because I've been a coffee person forever. But, I've chosen for myself for right now. And so I give this example because in these moments where we kind of have some clarity, where it's like, well, maybe I need to try this other thing, and that will help kind of manage what's happened. Oh, T, this cat. I love you, girl, but you gotta go. I don't want to meet girls, but she gets the toots. I picked her up and she tooted. So anyways, let's see. So then there's the flower. There's the flower blooming. And I feel like when you get out of this situation, when you allow yourself to get into a more spiritual mind or wellness mind, you're looking at things within your own life that you can work on or take up, maybe new hobbies or things that inspire you, spending time with people or things that, kind of lift you up instead of make you question every little thing about, your self-worth or meaning or, anything like that. You get to a place where you feel like, you're growing and the seeds that you're sowing are blooming. And we have here also a bird sitting right next to the head. And also the head looks like a big eye, right? So I really do. I think that you are in an awakening period, right? And you are getting messaging. The bird is the messenger from the divine. So you're probably very intuitive, very psychic, maybe even clairvoyant. This is a time when you kind of clean out these other aspects of life that keep you distracted looking at this thing when there's so much more to look at. You have all of this space for the channels of information to be coming in, right? And we also have the angel wings here. So I almost feel like there's somebody maybe in your family or a dear friend, somebody who, if they were around, they would tell you, remember yourself, don't get mixed up in all of that. And something my acquired mom often has told me in my life, you tell me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. And to some extent, yeah, I think that, who we allow into our sacred space, who we spend our time with, that really affects not who we are necessarily, not like in our most authentic being, but it affects how we experience life, how we experience reality, and it affects our own behavior. It really does. So I feel like you have somebody who would just tell you how it is. This is not a good friend to you. This is not somebody who's looking out for you. You need better people in your life. You need, whatever. Lean on some other friends. Be with people who, don't drag you down. They might not be as exciting as this person, but they in the long run you'll be better off. Hi. What are you doing? Okay, let's see. Now we have, we have a nest and we have birds. We have a TT. Hi, baby. And so, yeah, I do. I think that there's a feeling of, leaving the nest, right? But I do think that there's a feeling of maybe leaving this place that feels, I don't know, or maybe it's returning to the place that feels like home, like you've been out there a little bit, and maybe even through this friendship or the way that life has been kind of put together right now, things you've been choosing to spend your time with, the places you've been going, whatever it is that you've been doing, it's taken you further and further away from a place that really feels like home to you, where you feel comfortable, you feel like yourself. And so I feel like there's a sense of return coming. Okay. And ultimately, and this is why I don't lament seeing these kinds of cards that, the 5s and 7s and the Tower and Death card and these kinds of cards, because I know that it means that there's going to be an active change, or at least there is the potential for it. The possibility is there. We're aware now. Okay, something isn't right. Something isn't working. And so now, through this disappointment, we have to make a decision. What are we going to do? Okay, so that's a blessing. It's a blessing. All right, let's see. Now we have the Mary Magdalene Oracle cards. These are from Megan Watterson. Illustrations by MoonTube. Cat is on my shoulder like a parrot. I'm moving around a little stiff here. All right, I'm going to stop where it feels right, and we're going to read this together. It says, the anointed, I rise with only more soul. And there you go. And that's what it is. I rise with only more soul. Yes, you can't hold down. You can't keep down. You can't stop a Taurus person. You just can't. All right, Taurus, I want to say thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor. It is a pleasure to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel so much. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit the little bell symbol. It will let you know when the next videos are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I read them all. They mean the world to me. I really look forward to hearing from you. And yeah, with that, I'll say I love you. I love you so much. And we'll talk in a few days, so take care of yourself until then, and good night. Can you say good night? Yeah. Good night.